So for those who joined me early, this was almost in the moment change of our speaking practice event. That's usually a turn-based impromptu speech format. But today we're going to do something very differently. Today we will be using our dialogue event format. And I want to talk about what is a dialogue? How is it different from our regular impromptu speech practice? And especially, how is a dialogue different from a debate? So here it comes. A dialogue is a conversation on a topic where the main goal here is to understand, is to gain more perspectives from each other, and is to increase that shared pool of knowledge. Dialogue is different from a debate. For example, when you're in a debate, there are usually two sides. And one side will express their point of view, and then the other side will find their either factual or logical flaws and then express their side of view. And usually in a debate, there's an expectation of a winning side and the losing side. So today we're doing something very differently. The spirit is different. The key difference here is the genuine willingness to want to understand, to want to listen to a differing point of view. For those who just joined us, I'll be sharing a visual. Just give me a moment. So here, you will be able to see, if you missed what the event format is about, what a dialogue is, you'll be able to see a brief description of what a dialogue is and how it is different from a debate. Now let's move on to today's topic. I want to give a shout out to two individuals. One is Fiona. She is one of the hosts here at the Mouthfuls community. And it was a backstage conversation that inspired me to set this up as a dialogue event, where we have one topic and we engage multiple speakers to talk about it. The second individual I want to give a shout out to is Noza, who's currently in the audience, and her hand also raised. So for those who just joined us, if you want to participate, you can raise your hand now. I'll be providing a visual of how you can raise your hand. There is a button at the bottom. You can click that button to join us on stage. Thank you so much. And I want to give a shout out to Noza for suggesting us hosting more dialogue type of events. And this has to do with her personal development goals, upcoming public presentations, and also her genuine love for this format. Everyone who just joined us, you have joined the Mouthfuls community. We're going to hold a discussion, a dialogue discussion on, are we really strangers? Are we really strangers? I know this question can provoke all sorts of emotions from all of you. Some of you might be thinking, oh, I had so many deep connections, all the deep conversations that we had at the Mouthfuls community, hours and hours, the advice, the exchange of experiences, the emotional support, all of that. We're not really strangers. And some of you could say, look, I don't know anything about the other individual. Online, it's just, they're just showing facades of their personality, and really there's no accountability for them to treat this relationship with the due care that we normally do in real life relationship. So there are all sorts of emotions and experiences as well, and opinions as well, here online in the digital world. Do all those conversations matter? Are we strangers? Are we friends? What are we? So that's today's topic, stage rule of engagement. I want to invite all of you who just joined us to click that request to speak button. The stage max is 8. That's myself plus 7 individuals. And don't be discouraged if you don't get on the stage right away. Keep your hand raised, because oftentimes people who express their opinion after they finish, if they don't want to contribute further, or they have to leave early, they get off the stage and the one seat will be available for you. Keep your hands raised if you can't. There is a 2-minute max for sharing your opinions. As you can imagine, we are hosting a dialogue for a very large community, and there are also multiple speakers on the stage. We want to try to respect for people who are waiting for their turn to speak, and therefore we are having a 2-minute time limit. So try to be concise. Try to offer your opinion or share your experience directly to maximize the time that you have, and also get to point directly. Any questions on rules of engagement, the topic, as well as the format? I'd like to hear some yes or no's or questions. Let me quickly scroll up just to make sure that we have any questions that were expressed in the side chat. I'm Y with a question mark. I'm the server owner, one of the two, and I'm also one of the hosts here. There's so many amazing events hosted on this server nearly every day, nearly multiple. Right now we have 22 events hosted on the server. Definitely check out all of the amazing events. And here we are, Dialogue with the Y. Nehru, a question from Nehru. I would like to ask a little about the topic. Of course, Nehru, I will reiterate the topic, and in the meanwhile, I'll also be pulling up the topic as a visual. So in case I'm not clear, you're able to read it as well. So today, are we really strangers? We're talking about our interactions in the digital world. Take Discord as an example. Compare the connections that we made here versus the connections we made elsewhere, in real life, for example. The question is, are those connections real? Are we strangers? Some people might have challenged that directly, saying that in the digital world, the connections are not real. They are fake people. I've just heard that recently. They're fake people. You need to focus on real life, because the real life connections will help you. Online connections will not help you. They will not come in handy when you need it. So all of these contribute to the topic that we're discussing today. Are we really strangers? I hope that answered your question, Nehru. Can you give me a yes, no? Does anyone else have any question about today's topic? The maximum stage size is 8. That means myself plus 7 more speakers. If you don't get on the stage right away, don't be discouraged. Keep your hand raised, as people get on and off stage often, and there might be a new seat available, and that happens so frequently. And I want to say that for people who only have a point to make, and will not contribute any further by using the Can I Speak button, which I'll illustrate. So we will be following a speaking queue. Right underneath the speaking queue, there will be a Can I Speak button, that big blue button. If speakers, after their turn or before their turn, they want to jump the queue to make a quick comment, you can click that Can I Speak button. The same maximum 2 minutes time limit applies. Very good. We have 7 hands now. All the speakers, come on stage. Welcome. Welcome to the Mouthfuls. Welcome. Hello. Mic check. We're waiting for one more person to join me on the stage. That's Nard with a fraction. 2 out of 5. In the meanwhile, I'll be pulling up a 2-minute timer. And I'll be explaining the timer as well. Everyone, please look at my screen. I'll be sharing my screen. Enigmas, I'll be pulling you up. Oh, wait, sorry. There you go. That's 8. Quickly, timer. You don't need to look at the time, as there will be audio guide. I'll be explaining the 2-minute timer as well. So the timer comes with 1 beep, 2 beeps, 3 beeps following a sound effect with applause. When you reach 1 minute, you'll hear 1 beep. 1 minute 30, that's what you hear. And when 2 minutes up, you'll be clapped off. Very good. Very good. Barnabash, you are my first speaker. Hey, Barnabash.
Yo, hey, why?
Hi.
Glad to be here.
Welcome back. I know, welcome back. And I wish you recovered well and now very healthy and energetic.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I would say so. I'm ready.
I am so happy that you are the first speaker. Huge shout out to Barnabash, one of the esteemed hosts at the Mouthfuls community. Also, shout out to his video journal in the Challenges channel. And now, Barnabash, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Right. Definitely interesting, I would say, because I think I have definitely heard that type of sentiment about our online spaces and communicating online and making friends online. Are they really beneficial, or are they really, like, is it really worth it, or is it real connections? I've definitely heard about that and thought about that myself too. And I mean, first of all, I would not agree with that thought that it's fake. It's just fake people, fake friendships, because it's not real life. I can understand why someone might say that, because I do think that a lot of aspects are missing when you talk with someone online. If you, oh, timer is quick. Yeah, there are some aspects that are missing, body language. The only thing you see usually is, or you can hear their voice, maybe the webcam, but it's not, you're not really there. You can't really feel their presence in the room, or again, body language. So it makes sense why one would think that, but I think calling it fake is a bit weird in my opinion, um, because it still offers something. You can still have deep conversations, and they can still mean something and still affect you, and you can still affect people maybe not as much as you would in real life. And yes, the connection is often limited to only online. You can't really meet in real life, right? So it can offer a lot of things, but yeah, it still lacks aspects. Sure. There we go.
Thank you for that perspective, Barnabas. As you said, it often points to some of the missing elements online as opposed to the connections being fake. That was such a wonderful insight. Thank you for that. Naru. Hello there, Naru.
Hi.
Welcome and welcome to the community.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. Your mic is loud and clear. And what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, excuse me. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, you are loud and clear.
Oh, thank you. So I would like to, I do believe human emotions are matter anyway. That doesn't matter, is it a digital platform or so-called real life? I say it's so-called because I believe that today social media and digital platform are part of real life. And for example, in my personal experience, I met my best friend in internet, as well as many other, there were some people that I met in internet. But I believe that, coin has two sides. So there are one side, we met a lot of awesome people. Another part is about hurting people. As I said, emotions matter anyway. And for example, there are studies that shows how social media and messengers made bullying easier, which also leads, for example, in a high suicide rate in teens. So, as I said, emotions are matter anyway, and I believe every human need to remind it himself when he in digital era, when he is in Discord, for example, and he believe, no, it's just a comment, it's just a message, it doesn't matter. It's matter. It can hurt people, and yeah, let's believe it. Let's remember about it, and be nice toward people. Doesn't matter if you is it stranger in internet or in real life, is it person in Discord chat, or is it your classmate. Just respect human emotions and remember about it and be nice. Yep, it's all.
I love that so much. I love that so much, Naru. There are two important ideas and the fresh new ideas that you pointed out. One is digital world is part of our life. I love that. And second interesting perspective you shared just now is emotions are real. If the consequences on our emotions are there, then digital world shouldn't be taken any less than real world, as the consequences with our emotions are very much real. Now I'm gonna pause on this just a moment for all of the members of the audience. Welcome to the Mouthfuls community, and welcome to this dialogue event. The topic is, are we really strangers? In short, the topic is about in response to questions like, people on the internet are fake. There's no real connections online. Is it really true? That's the topic. A few shout outs to audience members who raised your hand: Coveragey, Julie, and Garaf. The stage size is 8. That's myself plus 7 individuals. Keep your hands raised, as often the speakers may leave early or decide not to participate in commentary. And now go back to the speakers on the stage. there is a speaking cue. I'll be going by the speaking cue. For those who are not familiar with the Mouthfuls, I will briefly explain the cue and how it works. Currently, we are on the third speaker. Neru just finished, followed by Siobhan, Noza, Ruben, Miss Brie, and Enigmas. If any of you, if you finish speaking, you are very welcome to remain on stage. And you can also contribute by clicking that Can I Speak blue button. If you want to interject with a comment. Did what I just said make sense to all the speakers on the stage and audience members? Any questions? Very good, very good. I'm seeing a lot of yes. That means Neru and Barnabash remain on stage and you can still contribute after your turn by clicking that Can I Speak button. In Kavriji Jubilee Gaurav, people may leave the stage, so keep your hands raised. Next up, Siobhan. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Okay, so I what I would like to say would be on some like spending a lot of time online searching interactions. I would say the internet has been a toxic place. Like people, the anonymity makes people say stuff and do stuff that they would not do in real life, and that makes the stigma of like online communities, online interactions that you will see, and that follows through. That you see that getting all across through internet, and that's the toxic people try to get away from. Usually, like this is something people just say out loud, and you try to get away from it, and that translates to other places. The stigma that about this digital interaction that is there, it's it follows through other places, and you are worried about these interaction that way, and that's why being strangerness of these interaction comes from. And I guess what when looking out for these genuine genuine connections that you can find online is finding healthy interactions that that you want to be the part of. And because this anonymity again makes sometimes make you see people for what they really are, and you can find some things actually again like some things that people will not say in real life, they are sharing it, and that may be that you agree or like resonate with so much.
I appreciate that very much, Siobhan. You touched on where did this notion come from that internet people are fake? It's because people get away online by doing things. It's that lack of accountability. And thank you for that very useful advice to be intentional and seek for healthy interactions online. Barnabash and Miss Brie agree with you so much. For the three speakers who just went, can we see some round of applause for them? They did so well under the time pressure with this event. They did so well. Miss Brie says, I agree so much. And now I'm going to suggest an idea for audience members who have their hands raised. Please feel free to type out your perspectives as well. Keep your hands raised just in case someone leaves the stage, but feel free to type out your response and mention me, and I'll read out your opinion. Welcome, everyone. A huge shout out to Victoria Hopscotch in the audience members. As I mentioned at the beginning of the event, this topic is very much inspired by her question in the backstage private channel. Thank you so much, everyone who clapped. Now I'm going to move on to the next speaker. Noza. Noza, I know this topic is a very deeply relatable topic for you. I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Hi. My turn came fast. Okay, so yeah. Oh. Okay, so so I need to talk now. I actually wanted to mention that. I think I want to mention something that maybe no one has said before or mentioned before. So, okay, so I feel like it's also like generation thing. Like I know, I think the way we live and interact with each other is also depends on which generation you're from. Like, I guess the older generation usually older generation used to interact a lot with in real life, and I think that's why they would value that's why they would value that time of in real life interaction and yeah. But currently, I think things are changing, and people are doing both of them, both online and real life. And I still have 30 seconds, and just I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of yeah.
That's so true. That's so true. And I watched your video challenge, Noza. I watched your video challenge and then I chatted with my friend on this stigma. And his immediate response was exactly what you're saying. That's a generational thing. So much has changed how we interact nowadays, just like Naru said earlier. Now, having an online presence is a part of our life now compared to before when social media is still very much foreign to the previous generation. Such a great point, Noza. Love it. Welcome everyone who have just joined us. We are talking about our experiences and interactions online, the authenticity of it. And the question is, are we really strangers, or there are something special to our connections? Next up, Ruben.
Yes, hello, can you hear me? All right,
Yes.
so definitely a good question. I think somebody was saying it's two-sided coin. I would almost say it's like a dice, many sides to this. So it is what you make it. You can choose to foster those relationships and take them farther. But I think for a lot of people, especially from a young age maybe, it's a big struggle because it's easy to kind of hide your insecurities behind a screen and not have to foster that relationship and work through your issues and problems. And it never will fully replace human interaction. So there's definitely limitations to it, which is why it is what you make it beyond the screen. But it is a good tool as well for those who choose to use it to grow and develop. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous.
Furthermore, maybe talk about the point that you mentioned, taking online relationship further. You're the first one who mentioned about that. For most of us, that relationship, I don't want to generalize, but take Mouthfuls as an example. We have a purpose here. The community has a mission, and we're here to grow. And we don't, most of us didn't have the expectation to take it further than this. Maybe some of you do. Ruben, talk about that point you just mentioned and elaborate on that. You still have 45
Yeah, so that's
seconds.
something that I honestly haven't done, but that's why it's kind of up to the person, because it's so easy to just get used to the kind of simplicity of having a relationship on the computer. And so I think it can really hurt the potential that's out there to kind of expand and grow. And especially for young people, I think I might have mentioned that, it's from a young age, they just have this easy to use tool, and we can kind of see it all around us, even in phones, where people just kind of stick to themselves and there's less real human interaction. So, there's something to be said there.
A 100%. That point about the negative impact on the youth's development of social skills, that's such a great point. Thank you for raising that, Ruben. I actually have a few examples of relationships in the Mouthfuls that were taken beyond that. And they don't happen very often. And in fact, they're very rare. They happen between myself and a few, what we call here, emeritus hosts. Emeritus is a very hard status to earn. All of the badges, the emeritus badge is so rare. It's a host that completes their term, and here it's about 50 events or so, and reach a high level of a commitment. And they have reached out to me for job reference, and I was very, very comfortable with putting my name behind their growth and their next career path. So a few of it, but so rare. That's less than 5 people reaching that status out of the 8,000 community. So there is some relationship that's taken beyond the digital. Thank you so much for all the claps. And thank you, Ruben. Such a great point that you raised. I'm feeling sorry for those who are waiting for their turn to speak in the audience. Feel free to type out your response and mention me, and I'll read out your opinions. Miss Bree, you're up next. And the speakers on the stage, don't feel like you cannot interject. If there is something you heard that you have a burning desire to add a comment, click that Can I Speak button, the blue one, and I'll let you comment. Miss Bree, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that I disagree that with strangers on the internet, but I think it depends on the individual, and I also think it depends on the website. Yeah.
Miss Bree, can I pause you there? Is it just me, or I can't hear her very clearly? Miss Bree, it sounds like you're muffled. Okay, it's for a lot of us here, Miss Bree. a little. It sounds like you are very close to the mic and you are speaking with the blankets in between.
Okay.
I can hear you, just it's not clear. Okay. While waiting for Miss Bray to sort that out, Coverigi, I've given you the permission to get on the stage. You need to click that green button, and I'll move on to the next speaker. Enigmas.
Am I audible? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, you
Hello.
are. Welcome,
Yeah.
Enigmas.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah.
to
I
meet
just
you.
joined a
Welcome to
few
the
days back.
community.
So I'd gotten to know about this community like through my friend who's actually in this community. So that's how I joined this community.
Very nice. Very nice. What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
the
no,
topic we're
I
discussing,
feel
Enigmas?
like I feel this has nothing to really do with which is more acceptable, like online communication or just in-person communication. I feel it has more to do with a person's attitude. It has more to do with a person's attitude and personality, basically. Like, as we speak, like there are certain introverts, extroverts, ambiverts, all those things. So like they have their like individual characteristics. Like some introverts, they are like, they just don't want to like, interact with people and they just want to be in a I wouldn't say a bubble. I would say like, and in an intellectual bubble, or they just don't feel like talking to a person in person because of their shyness or all that. So they just want to talk to they just want to present their thoughts, and they feel like by texting or by just conveying their message to someone who's just listening to them, that would be enough. So it has more to do with personality rather than like what is comfortable. But then it even comes to genuinity. Now we know like there are certain bots created and stuff, so it doesn't really feel real to an extent. But yeah, so I would say um I'm in like a I'm sailing on two boats in with this opinion. So yeah.
I'm trying to think about the point on how personality affects the quality of
Yeah,
interactions. But it's taking it's taking me some time to
no, I mean
grapple
we
with that
like
idea.
generally we know how introverts are basically. To an extent, like when these introverts generally talk to someone, they don't really have the courage to speak at all. But in case they're like texting this person or like speaking to someone online, they find more comfort and more. They feel like their thoughts are heard. So like they don't really speak to them, and they don't need to face the person eye to eye. So that personality is also kind of that was like all types of personalities are kind of welcome, you can see, in an online world. But whereas offline, there are there are chances that you can get rejected and even sometimes emotionally hurt to an extent. So yeah, there are its own. Yeah,
Thank you for your perspective, Enigmas. Thank you for your perspective. I got it now. I understand what your
Can I
thoughts are
add to that?
now. Thank you for clarifying that. And now I want to read out.
Yeah, so introverts,
Yes, Ruben.
extroverts. So it's a really good point, because um, it's up to the introvert to use it as a tool, if they want to develop and grow and, overcome the challenges that they might have. but you have to have kind of the foresight to do that. Otherwise, it's really easy to fall into kind of a trap where the digital world is much more comfortable than the real world, and you just don't grow from that. So yeah, it's glad he brought that up.
Thank you for that, Ruben. And often we have perspectives about humans in a way that's it's a part of our psychology and our build up to draw generalizations, and that's part of our brain in the process to understand the world. It's natural for us to think that way. Introverts will act this way, and extroverts will act this way. And if you act this way, there might be repercussions associated with it. And there are also exceptions to that. You could have an introvert that found this amazing connection in one of the online spaces, and in their experience contradicts with the generalizations. It's a wonderful point that both of you raised. Beautiful point. And I also want to give some time to an audience comment that's from Jubilee. Just like in normal setting, for example, joining Mouthfuls, we're strangers to each other, but as time goes on, from different interactions, we get to know one's personalities. So from strangers to acquaintance or friends, the relationships online just level up with the time. I love it. Such a wholesome comment. A few longer comments I want to read out. The next one is from Garav. Thank you for your patience. I think this is from Garav. I think online connections have the potential to be just as meaningful and impactful as real life friendships. Well, it's true that some digital interactions may remain fleeting. What I like about online groups is that the existence of online communities helps finding like-minded people around shared interests and the genuine support. It requires more effort to build trust and understanding in a virtual space. The reward is diverse. Very, very practical and very realistic observation. Towards the end, the reward is diverse. I love it. Another one from NP, also receiving hearts here. When I joined Mouthfuls server, it was like a space where I aimed to work on improving communication skills, helping skills, particularly around speaking and interacting confidently with others. The server probably felt like a new environment filled with different personalities and conversations, which might have been exciting and perhaps a bit overwhelming at first. Such an authentic expression, MP. I love it. And now you are one of the OG helpers. What a journey. Okay, thank you so much. These wonderful comments from the audience members. Thank you. Thank you. I know a few hands are raised. I'm hoping to see if any speakers who will no longer adding any comments can move yourself to the audience so we can have a few of the hands. So audience members Garav, Rain, and Gator Aiden back on stage. I believe Jubilee had her hands up as well. Any speakers on stage who no longer wants to speak anymore, feel free to move yourself to audience. Miss Bree, mic check. Miss Bree?
Can you understand me?
Can you say a little more?
Clear?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
Yes. Yes,
For
much, much
me,
better.
I disagree that we're strangers online, but I think it's up to the individual. I think every website too is kind of different with the way that you interact with people. Um, I think online it can be easier for people to lie about who they are, um, or to not take accountability, um, for the things that they say or the things that they post. But I think you can find genuine connections with people. I think it's just up to each person to seek that and look for that. And I think when you're online, you could have you could have like a larger I'm trying to think of, like, you have more access to more people to talk to. And I think like you can find a community, um you can kind of find a community that you can be more comfortable like engaging in, more so than in like offline. Um
Mm.
but yeah, I think there's something else. Um
Maybe Miss Bray, I'm curious to hear. You sound like you have had some experience with finding that kind of quality collection, quality connections, Miss Bray. Maybe with the 40 seconds remaining, you want to talk about some of the tips you have?
um I'm just a little nervous.
How can we find those quality interactions online now, knowing that you can get away from the accountability? Where do you find pockets of space online that's safe and you have a higher chance of meeting people that are just like-minded as you? Do you have any
So far that I've
advice
been in
or
this
experience
server,
to share?
I found like a lot of people that are like similar to me, and yeah, I'm nervous. Um
I wouldn't be in the position that you were in with a follow-up question and a 30 seconds countdown. And I regret for asking that question, Miss Brie. Finish your thought. If you wanted more time, finish your thought.
I think that's all. I have more that I was gonna say, but I just keep getting nervous and it's like I can't think. But yeah, I think that's all.
It's very normal to feel nervous being on the stage with 22 people listening. Wait, my math is wrong. With the 29 people listening, it's very normal to feel nervous. And yet, Mr. Brie, look at the positives. I also saw courage. The courage to put yourself on the stage to practice. I also saw striving, that relentless effort to practice solo on your own in the bot channel, the bot talks channel, and also coming to all of the events or member initiated practice sessions and keep going at it. Miss Brie, you are very, very inspiring. Keep doing what you're doing. You're very welcome. Someone left the stage. I'll pull one person up. That's Gaurav. Now I'm going back to the speaking queue. I have Kavriji. What are your thoughts? Thank you so much for your patience. Kavriji, what are your thoughts on this topic? And feel free to tell stories as well. We've heard a lot of opinions. Feel free to add stories and anecdotes and share your experience. Kavriji.
I think we're all humans, whether we're online or not. So there's definitely that. I think some people online are more their genuine selves than they can feel like they're offline. And especially like the Miss Bree made that point about how it can be hard to find people who are like you. I think this community that we have, like if it was like an offline community, it's very difficult to find sometimes people within that city or the small amount of people you have that have those same connections as you, same interests, same values. But like take this Mouthfuls community, we have like created a community where people who share similar values and respect for another all around the world that wouldn't be possible with the power of the internet. Normally, like, you try to find, sometimes you're just in like a community or a city that there's nobody like you there. And I think like, people who can't find people who relate to them, just, sorry, when you can't find someone who can relate to you, you can't be your genuine self. And it's like hearing Miss Bree's ideas today, I think that was made possible because of the internet. And that's more genuine than something you can get sometimes. I mean, a lot of the time offline, because a lot of times offline, sometimes you just have to. I mean, not sometimes. Most of the time, you just have to act a certain way. Like people meet each other and say, "Hi, how are you? How are you doing?" And we almost like it's almost automatic. We almost like run like a script, and yet people like, feel like they can be more their genuine selves online, and that this community is amazing for that. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. Oops, I panicked there. I think I had more time, but working on that.
I love it. I love it. The double-edged sword of consequences is such an interesting point, and Dean mentioned in his host application as well. By the way, huge shout out to Dean for his host application, and Rain Popular was here a while ago. He's applying for pop-up host. Definitely, if you support the candidates, go and go to the polls channel and vote for your candidates. Coverage, the double-edged sword for the consequence. Yes, online there's no consequence, and therefore the trolls can get away by trolling. But then in real life, there are consequences. And that's why in real life, we are more cautious and we often wear more masks and behave in a certain way to be more socially conformed. And coming back to online, we are more authentic. It's such a great point that you raised, Coverage.
Thank you. I'm not sure if I was supposed to respond to that or not. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said. Like online, if people just act like a troll, then we know right away that they're a troll, and we can kind of avoid them. Versus offline, to say hi, how are you, and we don't even know that they're actually a troll deep inside. I guess you can say, in some ways. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, with the troll, exactly. And I can add an example. I just went to a hairstylist, and she's a lovely lady, and I would love to talk more. And then the relationship is client hairstylist. I would have to think about overreaching for that's what's more than that. And same applies to a coffee shop barista. There's something that's limiting us from overreaching for what's normally considered appropriate gestures in a social situation.
Very good point.
That was coveragey. There were a few much longer comments on the site. I can see a queue. That's a question from Aisha. I want to address this question just in case it's relevant. Are these interactions fleeting and impersonal, like those in the comments section of social media, or do they carry more weight? This is an opinion. I'll read it out. I think there's fleeting and impersonal moments in real life and online. I don't befriend and form intimate bonds with every human you meet face to face. Exactly, just like me and my hairstylist. The same can be said about online interactions. It does take trust and time to build a relationship with anyone, anywhere. Maybe more active thought to verifying people who are who they say they are, which I think we should do in person as well. Comment sections could be equal to an occupied building. The longer you stay there, the more involved you are. But that doesn't mean you will form intimate relationships through, though it remains a possibility. I love that open-mindedness. Such a great comment. Thank you, Aya. Any reactions from the stage on that comment or what was just said? I'll pull up the queue so you can click that blue button. Can I speak? If you're shy. If not, then we'll move on to our last speaker. Well, second last, Rain. Welcome to the stage. And what are your thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, I'm ready. Actually, I just want to mention like 2 points. It's like I think online communities allow us to break away from geographical limitation, and so in that way we can meet people from different countries. We can talk with people with different background and different culture, and it's just so fun, to have this kind of opportunity to talk with different people and share opinions. Um, but yes, it's definitely we need a lot of effort to build trust and friendship. I can give an example. Like I and my fiance, we met online, but not in community, but an app for exchanging languages. So it's a lot of effort, and we spend a lot of time. Like we had a phone call almost every day, for like 2 years, I think. So we build a very I can say maybe very good, very supporting, a supportive friendship. So I think, yeah, we need to we need a lot of.
A heart emoji here is very soothing in Rain's story. Just she didn't have time to finish that, but I know Rain and her fiance, after that online relationship, now they're fiance, no longer friends, they're fiance, and it's a very happy direction that they are taking from starting from an online relationship.
Yes.
It's such a lovely story. Get all of your heart emoji, and there's so many heart emojis and lots of best wishes for Rain and her partner. Such a good story.
Yeah.
But I did pick up it's not a easy path. I understood that. I heard that it's a lot of effort to maintain a long distance digital relationship to come to fruition like you
Thank
did.
you. Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations on the engagement. Okay, let's move on to the last speaker on my queue. That's Gaurav. Hello, Gaurav. Hi, I know I already read out your comment.
Yeah.
And now
First of all, thank you
let's
for hosting
verbalize
these
that.
events. I
And you
think
have 2
it's
minutes.
very productive, and I usually don't miss your events. So great to be here again. And on definitely, I think on online communities, my perspective is balanced. Like there are pros and cons, but I would say it's definitely a lot of benefits for me personally in online communities. Just like Mouthful community, it's so many people with like-minded ideas, interest. I've met some of the people here, so I think a great way to connect all over the world, different, getting to know different perspectives, different cultures, getting to know different stories. So I think that is not that possible in real world, but getting those perspectives, I think online is really great. I've been working personally remotely from last 5 years since COVID, and like the way I've expanded my communities, the clients networks. I think it's great, and so I think a lot of benefits which I've seen in communities, and but I also believe there is a miss. Like let's say when I do conversations online, I can't see any face. Let's say there are missing interactions. I don't see any body language. So in person, you see the energy, you see someone's eyes, and then you can definitely see the body language and can judge accordingly. And personally also, like when I went to a leadership positions, so I think I don't know what my team is doing remotely. There are missing of ideas. There is no energy overall. So I think that is one of the cons. And also it leads to isolation. Sometimes if you do more online community, it definitely do isolation and affects mental health. So overall, I would say, can you have, let's say, real community? I think yes, if we put efforts, and I would prefer a hybrid model. Let's say once in a while you meet in person and also having a remote connection. So that would be my thoughts.
I can tell that you are indeed in a leadership position, and a lot of your points might have come from remote work related experience, the isolation that you mentioned, and as well as a manager, you don't know what your team members are doing. So many wonderful points that you mentioned, Gaurav, and very balanced and mature. Lots of wisdom and insights from what you said. Thank you. I can so relate to one of the things that you said, that is the emotions and gestures and body language missing. One example that I have as a host, that is laughs. So when one of my speakers makes a joke and I am laughing, but then everyone else's mic is muted. And sometimes even my mic is muted. But it's such a funny thing, but the speaker, I think from the speaker's perspective, they would be thinking like, oh, it must be not funny because why is it so quiet? But in fact, everyone's actually laughing, it's just their mic is muted. That's my experience. That's very similar. The lacking of emotions and expressions that's missing online. And obviously with the cameras on, mic on type of setup, it might be a lot easier. Noza. Thank you for that, Noza. So I've done all of the speakers for one round, and I'm bringing up Gator Aiden up. Any of you on the stage, if you have final thoughts to share, click that Can I Speak button before I wrap up the event. In the meanwhile, In the meanwhile, I am going to post a host feedback form. We'll be sharing my screen momentarily while speakers think about if they want to click that blue "Can I speak" button for final thoughts. And everyone else, look at my screen. The speakers especially look at my screen, and the audience members look at my screen. I have posted a host feedback form, and I'd love for you to share any thoughts you have, anything that you liked about today's event, especially the format and my way of hosting. I would love for you to fill this form out. There are multiple choice questions, really quick, efficient for you to fill out. Select a few things that you liked about this event. You can just click it. And select things that you didn't like. You want me to improve on one aspect about the event, one aspect about speaking, and one about social skills. So these are multiple choice you can click. And if you want to write something up, you can click this comment button. And if you want to be anonymous, you can click this anonymous button. And Levi, I can see your hands is up. Unfortunately, the stage is full. We have a max size of 8, and I will not be able to get to you. We're getting final rounds of thoughts using the "Can I speak" button. I'll call you one by one for if you have raised your hand. That's Noza.
Yeah.
We'll start with Noza. Noza,
Actually,
your
I
lasting
didn't
thought,
expect
the final thought.
this to happen, but I think during the event I was listening, and I was also reading comments, and one of the comments actually gave me a lot of insight about trust is very important in any kind of relationship or interaction, I guess. Yeah, that's oh.
In which comment was it?
Where was
The
it?
one that's very useful
there
to
were
you.
some people who mentioned it.
PQL, I know this one. I can read this out. This one with a lot of react emojis. I'll definitely. Would you like to read this out? Can you
I don't
find
know
it
where
out?
it is.
Would you like to read that out? It's so true. It's okay. I'll read it out. It's so true. It takes trust. Without trust, it's hard to open up to anyone. But making sure we aren't revealing some sensitive information. We can build friendships. Difficult part is converting an online friendship to more like an offline one, and vice versa. I've seen as my real friends and I fall off as we had to switch to only interact through calls. I think the medium of dynamic of your relationship really plays a role. If it is built out of in real life, then it would probably be weaker online. But if you really care about each other and click, then it would work anyway. I love it. I love it. And give it a star. Such a good comment.
Yeah, and
PCO, if you're still here, huge shout out to you.
And it also kind of reminded me of how
to you as
selective
well,
I am
Noza.
with people I talk to on Discord online as well. I'm very selective with friends and yeah, building relationships, I guess.
And we have the right to. We have the right to. And I want all of you to be open to new connections, be open to the possibility, including at times hurts, rejections, and betrayals, but still be open, be wholehearted. At the same time, if you detect a pattern of toxic behaviors, be firm and be decisive of cutting loss and set boundaries and be disciplined about the boundaries. Such a balance to achieve. Now, next, blue button.
Yes, I just
That's
wanted to share a
Ruben.
personal story
Ruben?
regarding
Final
this
comment.
topic. So I was a big gamer for many years, which I'm sure many Discord people are. And so I had this friend that I developed a relationship with, and it was probably 90% gaming, and I got to know them over many years. And at some point in my life, I realized that, gaming was something I had to turn off because it was really interfering with my life and my progress just as a person. It was taking a lot of time, and just not a lot of skills were building up outside of, hand-eye coordination maybe. But once I expressed to this person that I was no longer going to be gaming, they kind of cut all ties, which was painful. But it just kind of goes to show that, online interactions and friendships, it is what you make it, right? And even if you foster it, you don't really know if it's a genuine friendship until kind of new paths are explored and new topics are covered. And so when it's a very isolated, maybe friendship where you just focus on one thing or another, you don't learn everything about the person. It could lead to some surprises. And so just wanted to share that.
Yeah, Ruben, thank you so much for sharing that. There's so much to your story and your experience. There's what you said. You just don't know what you're getting into in a relationship, and there is a very isolated context in online relationships. It's contextual to that, and once you miss that, once you no longer have that, once you change, then
essentially
that cutoff was very
essentially just last thoughts here.
hurtful.
He just needed a gaming friend, and that's what he thought it was. And I thought it was, more than that, just based off of personal things, and it's easier to cut ties online. So, yeah, it is what it is, but definitely it is hurtful.
I know. I sent a huge hug, a digital hug on the side chat, Ruben. And I also want to talk about another aspect of that relationship, that story, and not meant to be insensitive towards your hurt feelings, Ruben. So someone just said this to me recently. Hurt or anger or resentment, these feelings come from unmet expectations. And I'll repeat that. Hurt comes from unmet expectations. When we set out to start a relationship online, what is our expectations? And in the case of a Ruben, not to be insensitive towards your feelings at all, you expected something. You expected a connection. That was someone you spent so much time with, hanging out, playing games, conquering quests, winning, losing. That person was your friend. That was your expectation. And to your friend, he expected a person who plays games with him. And that was his expectation. Once that context is over, I guess the hurt could be both ways. He was a hurt. I'm imagining here. He was a hurt by the sudden stop of the gaming relationship. He was hurt by that. and he expected. Yeah, I was just going to say that. It hurt them too. It hurt them too. And he might not have the capacity yet to understand that you also have a real life and your priorities change. And what you need to do, sometimes we need to move on. And it's hard for your friend to accept that
Sorry
change.
for the sad vibes, guys.
It's exactly what you said. Maybe it hurt them too. At the end, hurt. Ruben, lots of hugs from you. Lots of hugs. Thank you so much for sharing that story. I can tell that we're all feeling it. The last hand of the day is from Gaurav.
Yeah, I
Gaurav,
just would
final
like to add
comment before we
in a
wrap up the
favor
event.
of offline communities. Is my personal experience. I believe when we are in an environment when we can see someone doing something. For an example, let's say if I want to do a course, I've been very bad at doing an online course. Like I usually don't complete it. But when I'm in an offline environment, so I see people, I see what they are doing, and that stimulates me that to do better. Like I can also do the same. But in online, it's mostly remote, isolated. Uh, that part is missing, I would say. That's why like mostly offline communities courses are still doing good. I've been recently part of a offline community. They usually organize once in a month or twice in a month some events. So great to be a part of, and I think I really built some meaningful connections over there. And remote online, it's a challenge until and unless I put efforts. Let's say I put efforts, I introduce, and I uh, get to know. I have objective to start the conversation. So I think that part is there. But in online communities, I've seen, because I've been part of the remote culture, I've seen if you just have the cameras. I understand this is an anonymous community, but just having the cameras on and then getting to know people, each other. So I think that works a lot. That creates that environment, that creates that culture of like-minded, I would say, ideas, environment. So just want to add a part in favor of offline than online. But I think online is still great, like I said earlier. But we can definitely make it better with ideas like this. Like this is where we are talking about one topic. Last time we were just watching a video and sharing our thoughts. I think that's also great.
What a wonderful suggestion, Gaurav. And you give me an idea. I want to give a shout out to Siobhan. He's in the audience right now. And Noza. Who else? If I miss you, don't be upset. I'm trying. Both of them often start cameras on private chats. Gaurav, if that's your thing. And in fact, I believe Siobhan made it official. He started a Find Partners group. So this is a channel that's just a few stairs above where we are right now, stage 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 stairs up. And you might be able to find Siobhan's group. There we go. Yeah, there's Noza. Noza. Practice more being comfortable on camera, and Siobhan as well. Cameras on, body language and communication practices. This is an opportunity for any members in the audience who are looking for more beyond the audio only experience. You can go and join this group. If you are new to the community and you click that Find Partners channel and it shows that you have to pay, no, you don't have to pay. Keep attending events. Then you will earn the voice hours. You will level up and gain access to that to unlock that channel. With that, I have went over all of the speakers and their comments. Let me just double check to make sure that I don't miss any hands. Very good. Now, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me on a last minute basis for this Are We Really Strangers event. If you were expecting a classic turn-based impromptu speech, I'm sorry that you showed up and it's something else. It's very spontaneous pop-up special event for all of you regulars to keep things fresh and also be in touch with the pulse of the community, what the community cares about. I will continue to do this. And everyone on the stage, thank you so much for your contributions. Audience members, thank you so much for listening. Listening is kind. Listening is kind. I'm Y with the question mark, and I'll see you around in the community. Definitely sign up for all of the other amazing events in the community. Look at this. We have a very vibrant event portfolio, so many amazing hosts and amazing conversations. Bye, everyone. Don't forget to fill out that host feedback form.
Bye.
And I'll see you around. Bye. Bye, everyone on the stage. Gaurav, bye. Nehru, thank you so much for joining. Bye. Gator Aiden. Sorry we didn't get to you, Gator Aiden. Kavarichi and Anosa. Bye, everyone.